Hello, everybody. Welcome to Full-Time MLS. My name is Randy. This is Christian. What are you?
What's so funny?
I'm laughing about before we went live. I was like, "Are you ready to go?" And Christian's like, "Yeah, because we got to get this over by 7." We have a CONCACAF Champions Cup action later on at the time of recording. We're recording this on Wednesday. It's not coming out till Thursday. But at the time of recording, Christian's getting ready to watch FC Cincinnati in CONCACAF Champions Cup, and I'm going to be watching LA Galaxy tonight Cincinnati's in a much better spot than LA is, Christian.
Thank God.
Yeah, you need something to go right.
Show today.
Yeah, why don't you tell our glorious fans here why you're in a bad mood?
Because of Dortmund.
That's tough. You hate to see it. Did Juventus end up winning?
No.
That's also tough.
They went to extra time and they gave up 2 goals, but they were down a man like the whole game. So,
yeah, we are always watching soccer over here. We want to go ahead and remind you guys to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out to everyone else who loves MLS, help the page grow. We've got a lot of fun content for you guys. And then also, if you're listening on Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating. It helps us out as well. We are here to preview Match Day 2 of the 2026 MLS season. Christian, really quick before we start talking about everything, I want to talk about what happened this past week.
Not gonna lie, that scared me because it caught me off guard.
I'm sorry. What was that? Boj bomb alert that we need to talk about right now. Orlando City is in talks to sign Antoine Griezmann from Atletico Madrid. Sources tell Paul whatever and Mario whatever. Orlando has an open DP spot. Griezmann a top option that they are chasing. Christian, sorry for that fake out. I wanted everyone to think that we were just going to start off not by talking about this, but this news hit on Tuesday or on Monday, I believe, after we did our match day recap stream. And my jaw, I remember exactly where I was at. I was out to eat. My jaw dropped on the floor. I had to go find it. I called you immediately. We talked about it. You were shocked. So I want to get your reaction about this news.
I think like we all kind of knew this was coming based on what he was saying, but we didn't know it was coming to Orlando or even right now, right? So yeah, it was definitely shocking. He's pulled the rug on MLS before, so hopefully he doesn't do it now, and hopefully he actually makes the move and doesn't just continue to ride the bench for Atletico Madrid through these competitions. But it would be a great signing for Orlando for sure.
Yeah, so this signing has not been finalized at all. From reports that continuously have been coming out, Griezmann is interested, but he's undecided on whether he wants to sign this window. The window for MLS is about to close, or if he wants to wait till the summer, finish the season out with Atletico Madrid. They're in a competition right now that they actually have a chance to win a trophy in, so he's muling that over. Now, head coach, I always say his name wrong, Simeone, they've talked to him about it. He said this is completely his decision. I've told him that he should do whatever he feels right now for his family in the moment, whether that's staying at Atletico Madrid or if that's heading to Orlando. So, Christian, overall, yes, there is still a chance that he doesn't make the move or he doesn't make it until the summer. But I think it's just shocking that Orlando City is the team that he's considering going to. I saw someone the other day that said, I believe it was Eli, I need to get his last name right, who makes all the TikTok videos for MLS. But he said this is exactly what the Florida Derby needs. Because right now you have Messi on one side and you don't have the star power coming both ways. But if you have Messi versus Griezmann, it increases that derby as well. So I guess I want to ask you, what do you think Griezmann should do, honestly? Put yourself out of the realm of an MLS fan. You want him to come now, but what do you think would be smart for him? Wait until the summer or go ahead and make this move official?
Well, first, I want to say that I think it's a great move for the derby as well, just because right now, I don't really feel like Orlando has a lot of household names. They have a lot of great players, but not a lot of household names that really bring people to the matchup. Whereas now, if you're talking Griezmann versus Messi, you're going to get people that aren't really into MLS going to go, hey, I'm going to check that out. We originally thought he was going to be going to LAFC, but I did see an LAFC fan tweet out. Maybe they were a little just butthurt that he didn't come there, but they had said that maybe like a couple of years ago when they wanted to make this move, it made sense, but he doesn't really move the needle for them now, which I started to think about and I kind of agreed with. Like they would have to make room for an extra space for Griezmann. So I guess it didn't really move the needle for LAFC now, but it definitely does for Orlando. To answer your question though, I mean, obviously we all want him.
This is what Orlando.
What did you say? You kind of cut out.
You got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I think we both cut out. I think there was just a lag. You got me now, though?
A little bit.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead with what you were saying. You were answering my question there.
Yeah. I was saying that, honestly, I see him finishing out the season with Atletico Madrid, finishing out the campaign that they've already started, and then coming over in the summer. But we've seen this be a reoccurring thing, which is why we really need to get this calendar switch.
Yeah, we definitely need to get the calendar switch. I don't think it's going to hurt Griezmann to wait until the summertime at all. I think it would actually make sense to just finish his run out with Atletico Madrid. And Orlando, this is exactly what they need, right? We see a team that really just struggled against New York Red Bulls. You have Ojeda in the midfield, but outside of Ojeda, you've really been struggling to find like a second star to come in and bring that star power and give you the boost that you need to really compete in the Eastern Conference. Last season, we talked about how they really took a step back with their results. And honestly, this is what Oscar Pereira, he might need this to save his job. So I'm sure he is excited for Griezmann to go ahead and make the move over.
Yeah, I think I agree. It doesn't really affect Griezmann either way, but it will affect Orlando, especially if they kind of continue the run they had against the Red Bulls. I think that they definitely want to get him in as soon as possible.
This is why we had to start this podcast with this news, because it is absolutely huge news that came through. That wasn't the only news that came through, though. We do have to say this just broke right before going live, and that is sorry about that. That is LAFC has signed star Denis Bouanga to a new contract. New deal in speculation after bids from Fluminense most recently and Inter Miami earlier this season. Christian, what do you make of this news, which is probably some people are going to be like, oh, okay, whatever. I think I saw the contract goes through the 28 and 29 season. But when we were just on the game, kind of gaming together before this stream, and when we got this news, and you said this is huge, like this is huge news for LAFC.
Yeah, I think this is huge news for LAFC because now you're kind of going from the conversation of Bouanga's out the door when it was almost like a matter of like, when is he going to go, to now you've got him locked down, always say 2028.
I believe it's through the 2028-2029 season.
And that doesn't necessarily mean he's not leaving the summer, right? Like a bid could come in, they could take it, but now it's kind of like, now for sure, if they want to keep him in there, they're going to keep him in there. And I think that's why that's huge, is it gives you a sense of the future versus kind of wondering what's going to happen.
I want to know what changed with Denis Bouanga to sign this extension, because reports last year before they got Son was he wanted to leave. He wanted to go to Europe, or he wanted to go try a new challenge. Son comes in, balls out. He seems happy. Then he gets the contract from Fluminense, which they turned down, which rumors were coming out that he wasn't too happy about that. He was excited about a possible move. And then Inter Miami came calling. They turned that down, and he sends out a cryptic tweet saying, sometimes you're just this close to playing with your legends and it doesn't come out. Like, he was very excited to play with Messi and wasn't happy that LAFC turned that down. Now you beat Messi on opening night 3-0. We saw that last weekend in the first Saturday night showdown. And now it seems like the stars have aligned and Bouanga wants to stay in LA. So, winning can make a lot of people happy. And it seems to be doing a trick here for Denis Bouanga, and this is a huge get for LAFC to keep him around for a few more seasons. And I saw someone say that this has to make him, he's got to be in the conversation for the top 10 highest paid MLS players all time. And I think that's rightfully deserved.
Yeah. And you know, like, I think, I know Luciano Acosta, I think, is at Fluminense now. You know, obviously, Messi at Miami. I thought the Miami offer came before Fluminense. But,
it might have came before.
What was I gonna say? I think you know, I think he wanted to play with Messi, and that didn't go through, so it probably angered him a little bit. And then, which I've commended LAFC before on this podcast for not taking the offer from Miami, because I think that would have been detrimental to the league. But then, you know, Bouanga seeing this weekend, maybe like, hey, they come out in 3-0 to the team that he could have possibly been playing for. I mean, that's always a confidence booster right there.
Yeah, so great keep Bouanga around. And then, like you said, confidence booster coming out and beating the team that you were sad that you weren't going to be a part of. You know, grass isn't always greener on the other side. I will say that. We got one more little bit of news to talk here before we actually start previewing the second match day coming up for the 2026 MLS season. This news broke last week. I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. Toronto FC is now finalizing paperwork to complete their blockbuster deal to sign U.S. men's national team forward Josh Sargent from Norwich. Fee is around $22 million plus add-ons to make it a total of $27 million. Huge addition for Toronto is what Tom tweets out. Christian, I know you have had some opinions on this move. I think that, first off, let me just say, I think this is a great move. Josh Sargent was killing it for Norwich at times. Toronto needed a striker, a good striker to come in to really help this squad out. He's automatically going to elevate them in the Eastern Conference. I think at his best, this is a guy who could score anywhere from 15 to 20 goals in the league. And I think he's just going to be one of the best players. And the fact that we're getting him at his age, yes, he's trying to play for a World Cup spot. That's probably why he came over here, to be, you know, to get those eyes on him. But to get him at his age, it's such a huge get for the league. You know, this is one of the best United States players that we have coming back to play here in the state, or technically not in the States. He's playing in Canada. What am I saying? He's playing in like the American League. But Christian, walk us through what you make of this deal.
Yeah, I'm never going to talk down on a guy in his prime coming over to the league that we want to do better, right?
Yeah.
I think Sargent he's shown times that he can be a really good striker for Norwich, but he's never put it together for the national team. And I don't really see him breaking through, at least not at this point. And that's kind of crazy because we're talking about a nation that struggled to find consistency at that position, right? So maybe this is a move that can help him submit that. But I still think $27 million is a lot of money for a guy who's yet to break through on his own national team that is struggling to find consistency at his position.
If he comes here, though, and he has 12 goals by the time we get to the World Cup, or by the time you have to make your World Cup roster decisions, do you consider it, Christian? I think
it's time to start questioning, is Weston McKennie our striker? He's been playing center forward for Juventus a little bit, and he scored today too.
Yeah, but you take him up and make him striker. Who do you put in the midfield?
I mean, you have plenty of options. You have Tanner Tessman. You have obviously Tyler Adams is going to play there. So and Pulisic can kind of slide over if needs be. Like, you have plenty of options, I think, for the midfield. I don't think McKennie plays center forward at all. I think it's going to be Balogun, but I'm just saying he can.
Okay, so I said what I expect from Toronto FC. And I know you're saying you think this is an overpay for a guy who's not even going to be in the World Cup, probably. But at his best, what do you expect Josh Sargent to add to Toronto FC? How many goals do you expect him to possibly add to this roster?
As a supporter of the Major League Soccer league as a whole, I hope he comes in and I hope he puts up 20 goals. And I think that he can do it. And then if he does, I think that makes other players that are currently seeking opportunities overseas, and I hope he breaks through on the national team, because if he comes in and performs, then you have players overseas who are going, why am I sitting here riding the bench at Villarreal like Alex Freeman and not staying in this league that are putting me up on a pedestal? And I think that would be huge for the league.
You are the king of the digs. You took a dig the other day at some fans, and now you're taking a dig at Alex Freeman on the Villarreal bench.
I'm not necessarily taking a dig. I'm just saying I think that this is an opportunity for players in their prime to show that this league can put you on a pedestal and that you don't have to go overseas to do that.
Well said. Well said. I agree. I want more players, especially people in their prime. There's so many young players who they still are like, I got to get to Europe. I got to get to Europe. You don't have to get to Europe. You can get eyes on you here playing in Major League Soccer. So
and I still think if the US takes up on the offer to join Copa Libertadores, that would be huge growth for this, because constantly playing in Honduras and constantly playing in Costa Rica is not going to be good enough for the league and these young players. If we can go and play games in Brazil or Argentina, that will grow this league as much as possible. And
the talent's just not up to par as well. How many MLS teams have we seen just absolutely dominate these first round matchups? LAFC won 7-1 aggregate. You guys are what, 4-0 on aggregate right now?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that that's always been true. I mean, even 3 or 4 years ago, you weren't seeing that like you are now. It's just the league is growing and growing and growing, and we're seeing it now. So now is the opportunity to take up on and you know what? We may go into Brazil and Cincinnati may lose 4-0 aggregate to Fluminense, but you know what? The more times you face off head to head, it's going to be better versus going and playing some team in Honduras. It wasn't
always easy. We used to really struggle against the Liga MX team.
And at this point, you're talking about true professional soccer players taking on plumbers in the Honduran league. So,
and now you're taking a shot at plumbers. What are we doing here? All right. Well, we got to get to this MLS weekend, and we're going to start off by going to fantasy, giving you guys some fantasy advice. You know, last week was the first weekend that we had this new MLS and Kickbase fantasy partnership. Christian, how did you think it went for you? This was the first time we used Kickbase. Were you a fan? Are you not a fan? Don't be scared to say if you weren't. What did you think?
No, I liked it. I think the fact of, I think me and you talked about this, but the ability of live scoring versus, and I think Fabian covered this on the podcast I wasn't able to make as well, on how it's like before you're expecting 3, 6, 9 points. Now you can have a guy come in and like Max Arfsten, who didn't have any goal contribution, and they gave up 3 goals in the game and still walked away with 125 fantasy points. I think it definitely helps with the fact of if you have the right player and he plays well, you're still going to get points versus, just trying to get lucky and get a goal contribution.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I absolutely loved it. I was watching on my phone. I have it pulled up here as we get ready to talk. Watching it update live was really cool. It's something that we didn't really get with the fantasy through the MLS app. I feel like a lot of times, and I said this last week as well, that got put to the wayside, and it feels like it's a forefront here, and they really put a lot of time and energy into it. Just reminding you guys, if you want to try it out, it's not too late. You can still join our fantasy league. The link is in the description below. Yeah, you're starting out a little behind us, but you got time to catch up if you put some good fantasy teams together. If you listen to us and our advice, you can catch up.
Don't listen to Randy.
What do you mean don't listen to Randy? Yes,
Randy's out here putting in players on red cards.
You know what it is, what it is. He would have been great if he started talking about Cisniega. Here's our Kickbase fantasy standings. Sakuna Makana is in the lead, 1,878. Christian, you're only 300 points back. Ricky Al 14, 374 back. Then you have me in 4th. Not too bad. That's why you should listen to me. I'm in the top 5. David Marshall, 37, 700 points back. And then Saputo Mafia, 770. Those are the top 6. Right now, I believe there's 20 people in the league, 18 or 20. So you still got room to catch up. Make sure to join our fantasy league. But now, Christian and I are going to give you some must-play fantasy players. I'm going to give you the goalkeeper that you should put in, and the midfielder you should play. And Christian is going to give you the defender and attacker that you should be playing this weekend as well. So let's go ahead and get on this. 4 gentlemen before us. And who should you play in goal? Well, he had a fantastic week 1 matchup result against Orlando. And that is a guy who also is hoping to make the U.S. men's national team, Ethan Horvath. This week, he's in my fantasy lineup. He is playing New England at home. I expect the Red Bulls to have, they looked absolutely fantastic on the road against Orlando. Sure, he could have given up 2 goals here, but at the end of the day, he only gave up 1. He had a lot of saves, kept them in that game when Orlando started to find their footing. And he's not a guy who's going to be overly expensive. You look at the most expensive goalkeeper in fantasy, which I believe is, I'm pulling it up right now, is Dane St. Clair at 18.5 mil.
Behind him, he scored 1 point last week.
Dane St. Clair?
I think he did, yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Matt Freese is second at 16.8, and then Stuver is 16.6. So your expensive goalkeepers are going to cost you 16 mil. Ethan Horvath went from 11.1 to 11.2. Not a huge jump. And if you look at what he scored last week, he scored 168 in that game. I think he's going to do well again this week against the New England side who are still working to find themselves. They just got blown out on the road by Nashville. I'm expecting this to be a closer game, but I think this is a game that the Red Bulls can win, and for that reason, I think you should have Horvath in your lineup.
I'm glad you brought up the price changes because that was kind of something I wanted to talk about. Was I was kind of surprised by how little the prices jumps were. Like,
you want to talk about Mehmeti for the Red Bulls because I know that's what's sticking out.
Yeah, along those lines, yeah, because he's still a lock to get into my lineup at this point. I mean, the dude ran the whole offense for New York Red Bulls. Granted, he may not, come out and do as well, but was it 0.7 mil? I think it was. He
was 0.5 and now he's 0.7.
I mean, in my opinion, you have to get him in because even if he scores 60 points, you're only paying 0.7 mil for that, right? And that allows you to fill out the rest of your lineup. In my opinion, that would be a good play. But I have defender and attacker, so I'm not going to be able to do the midfielder. At defense, I'm going with Max Arston. I think he's playing against a team in Sporting Kansas City who did not score in their first week. And I have going back to 2018, they have not scored against Columbus. Also, I kind of expect him to get a goal contribution this week. I think that's going to be a lock in your lineup.
He's a premium defender, though. I will say that. Do you know what he scored this past weekend?
125, I believe.
125. So you're saying definitely where obviously he struggled against Portland on the road, but they're coming home against an SKC side, like you said, really struggling to score. Can Dejan Joveljic get a goal in? Maybe, but again,
125 against a team that put 3 goals past them, and he didn't have a goal contribution. So now we're talking about he's playing a team that, I am only going back to 2018, but they have not scored against them since then at least. And a team that failed to score last week against who were they playing in San Jose? I think that Columbus is a better team, and I don't see SKC scoring again this week.
And I mean, Arfsen 9 times out of 10 going to play the entire game, which also helps out, and he's going to be on the front foot. So, Arfsen, I think you're copied a little bit because that was who Fabian picks last week, but I'll allow it. Allow it.
Like I said, last week I wouldn't have gone with him, but this week the numbers don't lie.
For the midfielder, call it recency bias. I don't care. It was the last game on Sunday night, but you need to get Paul Rothrock in your lineup. Jordan Morris, thankfully, they have came out and said that it is not a serious injury. Also want to throw out there for Evander, not a serious injury. So we avoided 2 guys who went down with non-contact injuries. Those are never good. Neither one of them are serious. But Jordan Morris is not expected to be back in the lineup this week, as far as I know. So until that changes, you need to get Paul Rothrock in your lineup. He had an assist and he had a goal this week, scoring 251 fantasy points. He's going to cost you 18.2 mil. So he's on the cheaper side. If you look at the top end, the premium midfielders that are going to cost you in the 30s, the 40s, he's only costing you 18 mil. You can save some money with him. And Christian, back me up here. You watched the game. Like, we were both watching it. So much went through Rothrock on that left flank. Every time they kept getting the ball out to him. His first goal, I thought, should have won goal of the week. The ability he had to chase that ball down, keep it in bounds, crash into the advertising board, turn around, cross it in perfectly for Albert Rusnak to put it in the back of the net. And then obviously that second goal, Jesus Ferreira doing it a beautiful, you texted me immediately, that pass, a beautiful pass to send him on the left-hand side to get his goal. So much was going through Rothrock. We've had this conversation too. It might be time to play Jordan Morris as a super sub and start playing Rothrock more, because the offense just looked so much like it looked electric with him in.
No, I agree. I was kind of surprised to see that first goal wasn't even on like you couldn't even vote for it for goal of the week. Honestly, I thought I saw multiple better goals than what they had on the list.
Yeah. Diego Rossi ended up winning with his.
I voted for Diego Rossi, but I think that I 100% would have voted for Rothrock's assist.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend getting him in your midfield, and hopefully, unlike Cisniega, he ends up playing this week.
I mean, I think he should with the injuries. He definitely should be playing. So in the attack, I'm going with probably another kind of premium player here. But he got their only goal last week. I'm going with Hugo Kuipers for the Chicago Fire. We're talking he's playing against Montreal at home. Montreal conceded 5 last week to San Diego. Chicago has scored, 7 goals in their last 4 appearances against Montreal. And Hugo was the only one to score against Houston last week. Another option I do like is Zinkernagel on this one. I think they probably both get goal contributions, but Hugo is the cheaper one. So I think if I'm going to go with the premium defender, I should probably go with the cheaper option on the attack.
How much is do you know how much Hugo is going to cost you?
28.3.
So yeah, it's another, much like Rothrock, it's not a premium attacker who's going to cost you like in the 30s, 40s. So you can save a little bit of money there too. It's all about where you allocate your money. I don't hate this. I think Chicago needs a bounce back week. They were very disappointed to give that lead up in Houston. I could see them putting 4 or 5 past Montreal.
If that happens, I think we are officially talking Montreal wooden spoon, because they've already conceded 5 last week. Granted, San Diego is a very good team, but if they concede another 3, 4, 5, then I think that might be on our
Wooden spoon watch.
Wooden spoon watch, and I know it's only week 1 or week 2, but is Montreal the worst team we've seen?
Yeah, they would definitely be automatically a loser. By the way, we want to remind you guys, if you're wanting us to talk about the action, we did. Go check out our other video that came out on Monday, our Matchday 1 recap. We played some fun games. We did. It's only week 1, and we also named winners and losers of the weekend. So we kind of go through and talk about everything that happens. This episode that you're listening to or you're watching just to preview the weekend ahead, which is exactly what we're going to do next. By the way, before I take them off the screen, that's your rush lineup pretty much. Pick one more guy and you've got your rush lineup. So, or I think it's 2 more guys potentially. Mm-hmm. So one or 2. Are they even doing rush anymore?
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Oh, they might not be. That's unfortunate. All right. Well, we got to go ahead and keep things moving here. We are going to preview every single Match Day 2 game. We're going to make our predictions as we go around the league. Yes, we are going around the league, and we have a pick'em competition going on. And here's the updated standings. Christian wasn't here last week, but Fabian made picks for him. He got 2 games, like perfectly predicted, score, result, everything. And I only got 1, which is why Christian is ahead. If you guys, I'm going to tell you again how the rules work, basically how the points work. And that is, when picking a game, if you pick the correct score and the correct result, you get 3 points. So if you say a game's going to finish 2-1, Charlotte wins, and you get that right, you get 3 points. If Charlotte still wins, but your score prediction isn't correct, you only get 1 point. And then obviously if you pick Charlotte and someone else wins, you get 0 points. So Christian, congratulations on this head start that you get. You're 3 points ahead of me.
Oh yeah, I owe it all to the fans.
You owe it all to Fabian is exactly who you owe it
The
to.
fan.
All right, we're starting the week Saturday, Soldier Field, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be 1:30 local time, so it's going to be an early kickoff, much like the St. Louis game was. Chicago Fire, who just, again, they let one go against Houston, allowing 2 late goals on the road. They are facing CF Montreal, who, as Christian stated, might be a wooden spoon candidate and just gave up 5 goals to San Diego on the road. Christian, where are you going here?
I don't think this team showed me any reason to allow them to have a goal in this one. I'm gonna go 3-0 Chicago.
Stop taking what I want to say. I'm also going 3-0 Chicago. I would love to say Montreal gets their first goal of the season. And I almost thought about saying it because Chicago always lets in goals. They always do. So I thought about it, but no, I think this one, just keep it straightforward. 3-0 Chicago. Next up, Sports Illustrated Stadium. I did not know it's called that now, by the way. Also an early game, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time in New York. The Red Bulls look to continue their dominance. They just dominated Orlando, and now they are hosting New England Revolution, who looks to bounce back after a 4-1 loss to MLS Cup contenders, Nashville. This one, I'll go first here. We'll go back and forth. Look, I was super impressed with New York Red Bulls. Cade Cowell looked absolutely fantastic. Michael Bradley looks to be an incredible coach with some of the tactics he made. It's going to be interesting to see who starts up top. Is it going to be Choupo-Moting this week? Is it going to be Julian Hall? Obviously, Mehmeti looked great. Horvath looked great. Just this team really shocked me, while New England still is trying to answer some questions. I'm going to go 2-1 Red Bulls in this one. I think the score is exactly the same.
I think Orlando should have gotten a draw out of that one because I don't necessarily like that Dorsey's goal got taken away. But I also think New England on their goal with Carlos Heel, it was crossed over to Campana, looked good as well. Who was New England playing again?
New England was playing Nashville.
That's a really good team. I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
All right, our first draw prediction. We got a 4:30 p.m. Eastern start time at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Colorado had a rough Sunday evening when they lost to Seattle 2-0. It was a rough start for Matt Wells and his campaign as the new manager of Colorado. Portland got an impressive win against Columbus at home at Providence Park. And when we were doing our hot takes, it's just week 1, but I said Portland could be a top 4 team in the Western Conference. Christian, where are you going as they travel on the road, though?
So it'd be Colorado's home opener. I just don't think Colorado really showed a lot to me here, but with Portland being on the road, I'm going to go 1-0 Portland.
Stop. That's exactly what I was going to go. Do I change it up? No. I'm going to stick to what I think it's going to be and not give you all 3 points. I think it's going to be 1-0 Portland against Colorado. I think Colorado, being at home in their home opener, they're going to put up a fight, but I think Portland is the better team. Let's talk about Christian's favorite team. They're in action tonight as of this recording, but they will be back in MLS action Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time at Allianz Field. I don't know if James Rodriguez is going to make his debut or not, but Minnesota just came off a 2-2 draw. They were lucky to get that draw against Austin as they scored late. And then you have FC Cincinnati, who just dominated Atlanta United at home. Where am I going in this one? Look, I do think FC Cincinnati is the better team. I don't think they're going to have Evander, but they still looked strong on the attack. But they're not a team that goes out and scores a bunch of goals. I really could see this one being a draw. I'm going to go out and say 1-1 draw in this one.
Here's the thing. Like we were saying, Cincinnati is playing tonight. I expect a little bit of a watered-down lineup being up 4-0, and they're at home. I think they're going to rest some guys tonight. I think Evander could be back. They're saying it's not serious. I'm going to play it safe, though, but I still think we get the win here. I'm going to go 2-1 Cincinnati.
Hey, support your boys. I respect it. I definitely respect it. Next up, we have a team looking to really bounce back and a team who kind of balled out week one. San Jose hosts Atlanta United Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern at PayPal Park. San Jose is coming off a 3-0 rout of SKC, another team that we're expecting to compete for the wooden spoon. And then Atlanta United looked like pretty much the same, even though you have Tata Martino with them now. It looked like a team still struggling for their identity, and in the midfield, their stars aren't really showing up. Christian, where are you going with this one?
I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see Timo Werner get in on this one. Being at San Jose's at home, I don't think if Timo doesn't play, I don't think they have as strong of a lineup. But being at home, I think they still get a goal. So I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
I am also going 1-1 draw here. I think Atlanta's got to get some points on the road. I think they're a better opponent than SKC. But this game is screaming 1-1 draw. I'm not meaning to copy you. This is 3 times now, 3 games that we've picked the same score.
I know what you're doing. You're just trying to keep up.
Yeah, keep up with the pace. All right, let's slow down a little bit here and talk about this week's Walmart Saturday Showdown. Real Salt Lake hosting Seattle Sounders, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time at America First Field. Christian, these are 2 teams, different trajectory. We have RSL, who, they really put up a fight against Vancouver when they were missing like 8 of their guys. And then you have Seattle, who looked just great against Colorado, looking like they can really compete in all the competitions they enter this year. What do you think about this Walmart Saturday Showdown? How are you expecting this game to play out?
I mean, we touched on, well, you did on our last episode. The primetime games haven't really lived up to expectations, maybe. But I think this one could. I think as long as Salt Lake has some players back, I'm mainly speaking on Diego Luna, and I don't think Olatunyi played either.
No, he did not.
So I think if they can get a couple of those guys back, obviously I know they're dealing with a lot of visa issues, but I still think this could be a good game at Salt Lake. I'm going 1-1 draw.
Let me go ahead and look. You can go onto the Kickbase app and you can actually look at injury updates. Let's see what they have for RSL. Sorry, just scrolling down there. RSL, they've got nothing on the board for them right now. So either they haven't reported anyone. You're going 1-1 draw. I think Seattle is just the better team. This is where we're going to disagree. They looked clinical, very clinical to me. And I'm actually going to go 2-0 Seattle to get an impressive win on the road in RSL's home opener. I just think they're the better team.
You don't think they're Salt Lake scores 2 games in?
I think they are still going to be battling with some injuries. It's just, from what I saw with Seattle, they just look so much deadlier and more clinical than Real Salt Lake. So I think it's going to be a rough start for Real Salt Lake season. So next up, we are going Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Sporting Park. SKC just got blown out by San Jose on the road, 3-0. They're a team that, Christian, it looks rough. It looks pretty ugly. But they're welcoming Columbus Crew, who are looking to bounce back after they lost 3-2 to Portland. Columbus is the better team here. I'm going to try not to overthink this one, but something in my gut is like, SKC's going to score. SKC's going to score. So I'm going to go 3-1 win for Columbus here.
Probably get that checked out if your gut's talking.
I can. Yeah, I'll do that.
What did you say?
3-1 Columbus.
Okay. I think there's going to be more goals. I'm going 4-1 Columbus.
Oh, more confidence. Okay. So we're still kind of in the same headspace here. Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Shell Energy Stadium. Houston just got an impressive comeback win against Chicago. They stay at home, while LAFC, everyone tuned into that game, and they just slaughtered the reigning MLS Cup champions, Inter Miami, 3-0. Christian, where are you going here? Can LAFC keep it going on the road?
Was Houston at home last week against Chicago?
They were, yes.
Guilherme looked really good. I still think LAFC gets the win here. I'm going to go 2-1 LAFC.
I'm going 3-0 LAFC. I think they continue their fiery start. They come into Houston and just shut the place down. I don't think Houston's going to be able to compete with this level of talent. So 3-0 LAFC. It's going to be another blowout. All right. Saturday night, keeping things going. Also crosstown in Texas. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Toyota Stadium. FC Dallas remain at home after getting I believe it was a win against Toronto FC. And then Nashville SC, they just routed New England. They go on the road. I'm going to go, look, Nashville is the better team than Dallas. I think it's going to be do I think Dallas scores is the question. New England got a score. So I think I'm going to go 3-1 Nashville in this one.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
All right.
3-1 Nashville.
3-1, both of us. That's now the fourth game that we've picked the exact same. All right.
The first one I copied you, though.
Yeah, true. Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time at BC Place. Look, Vancouver's been a team. They're getting the results they want. They're getting the wins, but they're not convincing wins. And they really were struggling against an RSL side that were playing nobody but like academy kids. And now they host their cross-country rival in Toronto FC. Josh Sargent, I don't believe, is expected to be ready for this one. So no Josh Sargent yet. But where are you going in this one, Christian? Canadian clash here.
Well, see, this is an interesting one, though, because he's not listed on Kickbase, but Sargent he's not a guy who like needs to go find a visa or anything. Like, he should be able to get into the lineup, but I don't think he would start anyways. I'm going to go 2-0 Vancouver.
We're going to copy for the fifth straight game, or not fifth straight, but fifth game so far, because I'm also going 2-0 Vancouver. It sounds right. And then to close out our Saturday night slate, my team, where's my badge at? LA Galaxy. They need something to go right for them, especially if CONCACAF doesn't work out this evening, which we obviously hope it does. But they managed a 1-1 draw against New York City FC in a game they scored in the first minute and then looked just outperformed the rest of the way. And then Charlotte, we got to see them live in action in St. Louis. Go check out our St. Louis versus Charlotte opening day MLS vlog on our page now. It was a really fun video. We take you through the entire game day experience. Christian and I had a great time. But Charlotte also drew their team 1-1. So these are two teams on a couple of 1-1 draws. Something's got to give, and I don't think it is. I think we're up for another draw this week. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw in this one as well.
I was thinking 1-1 draw as well.
It's the sixth game.
I think that's just kind of what these teams are going to do at the beginning of the season. You know, they're just going to people out.
I think Charlotte's going to get a goal early on, and then I think Galaxy will kind of get bailed out with the late goal is how I think it's actually going to go down. Starting our Sunday slate, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time at Q2 Stadium, Austin FC, able to manage a draw against Minnesota United at home last week. DC United got the most impressive win of the week, defeating reigning Supporters Shield champions Philadelphia Union 1-0. Can they keep it up, Christian?
I think they can. I'm going 2-1 DC United, and we're going to be talking, is DC United back?
That's crazy. You know what? Just for the fun of it, I don't think it's going to end 0-0. We didn't see a single 0-0 game last weekend. But what are the odds we don't get another 0? What are the odds we have another weekend where a game doesn't end 0-0? This is going to be the 0-0 draw of the weekend. DC goes in, gets a point. Nobody scores here.
I don't know. DC just looked dangerous. I know they only scored one goal, but and maybe it was all in the Philadelphia midfield because DC really controlled that midfield. But I just don't see them not scoring in this one. So I think 2-1 is. I said 2-1, right?
Yeah, 2-1 DC.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I should have held my draw for this game, but oh well, you can't take it back now. Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at Subaru Park. Philadelphia needs to bounce back after a lackluster performance against DC United, where they started their season with the loss. They are historically good at Subaru Park, so that'll be interesting to see. While New York City FC against LA Galaxy, they were lucky to get a draw. They looked like the worst scoring team in the league. Even though they did get a goal, they looked like they had nothing on the front foot as Alonso Martinez is still out with his injury. They are searching for someone to step up and put the ball in the back of the net. I think Philly does win this one. I'm going to give them a 1-0 win at home.
This is where I'm going with the 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
First one.
Hey, did I steer you in that direction when I said I should have held it off?
I mean, I just felt like you said, New York City didn't really look dangerous at all. It took a penalty for them to get the goal. And then obviously Philadelphia couldn't score against DC. Granted, it is Sean Johnson, but now we're talking about the guy who's the favorite to be the national team goalkeeper. So, I mean, outside of Galaxy getting that first goal, Freeze played a really good game. So I expect him to carry that over.
All right. And then we have our Sunday night soccer game this week presented by Continental Tire, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Inter and Company Stadium, Orlando City. Yeah, I mean, the Griezmann news is huge, but he's not there yet. And they kind of got routed at home. They did start to come into the game late, but they got routed early on against New York Red Bulls. They could have had 7 goals. And then you have Inter Miami, who I would not want to be the team to face Inter Miami after what happened Saturday night. Messi, Christian, you and I have talked about it off stream. Messi's probably going to come out and slaughter someone. So how bad is it going to be? I think it's going to be pretty bad. I'm going to go 4-1 Miami in this Florida Derby.
I mean, 4-1 is exactly where I was leaning. My biggest worry is, does Messi play in this game? I don't see why he wouldn't, but he does have an injury tag on him, and they also play tomorrow. So in a club friendly, it looks like. That's weird.
That is weird.
But so maybe Messi won't play on that one. But I'm going 4-1 as well.
4-1 as well. And then finally, to close out our match day 2, San Diego FC, they have been rolling. 2 wins already by, 3 or more goals in their short season here. They host St. Louis City SC, who is able to get a draw at home, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time, Snapdragon Stadium, to close us out for the weekend. Christian, why don't you go first here?
St. Louis did have some dangerous spells against Charlotte. I don't think San Diego is another 3+ goal win, but I do think being at home, they're going to pull out the win here, and I'm going to go 2-1 San Diego.
Oh, I think they have another 3-0 in them. 3-0 San Diego to close out the weekend. What?
I just don't see it. I think St. Louis looked dangerous enough, and they could have very easily won that game against Charlotte, very easily, especially at the end of that game. They had multiple chances, and Kalinja was in goal. I don't think Cisniega is as good as Kalinja. Kalinja is probably top 3 goalkeeper in the league. If St. Louis can, and granted they were at home, but if they can continue to create those opportunities, there's no way they go scoreless.
Well, it's going to be a fun MLS weekend ahead. Christian, while I can show these stats before the match day 2 weekend kicks off, why don't you let us know, what are you looking forward to most before this weekend kicks off?
As in like these stats, or
no, just in general? What are you looking forward to the most this weekend, or seeing this weekend?
I'm looking forward to seeing how Messi bounces back, and how Miami period bounces back, but mostly Messi. I think we're going to see a kind of ticked off Lionel Messi, and that makes me very excited.
I'm excited to see. I'm going to go back to it. The leading goal scorer right now, Julian Hall. I just want to see the Red Bulls play this weekend. That's the game I want to watch, because they were just so fun to watch these youngsters go out and really ball out for Michael Bradley. I want to see this team continue to grow. It felt like a college team. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and spending your day with us here as we get you hyped and ready for all the games that come up this weekend for match day 2 of the 2026 MLS season. Again, if you enjoyed our content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We have so much fun stuff coming out for you guys. And then don't forget to share this to your other friends who love MLS. We just want to create a community here where everyone can come and talk about and interact about their favorite league. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating. It helps us get the name of the show out there, helps us continue to grow. And we will see you guys early next week as we break down what happened and what went place during match week 2 of the MLS weekend or season. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.